Thank you for popping by. I'm going to share with you exactly how I transformed my expertise into an online consulting business that generates six figures. I run it in about 20 hours a week. I absolutely love it. I don't have a team of staff. I am not glued to social media all the time, and I am not a huge content creator. Now, it's taken me 7 years to get to this point. I'm not going to say that this happened overnight. There is no such thing as an overnight success story. But it won't take you 7 years because you're going to see exactly how I've done it. And this is what I call the boundless blueprint, my method. And just a little bit of background to give you some context. I spent 20 years in marketing, in brand management roles in the UK and Australia. I then went from client side to agency side. So I co-owned a marketing design agency for a few years. And then I went into business alone about 7 years ago. And you'd think with all of this experience that marketing and sales would come easy to me. Well, it did in the commercial world, but when it came to actually me putting myself out there online, it was a completely different kettle of fish. And so I totally understand why some people hold back from doing it. It isn't for the faint-hearted. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. But knowing what I know now, because I am the queen of complexity, knowing what I know now, it could have been much simpler, much simpler than what I made it. And I've reached this point now where it is simple, and it doesn't have to be daunting. It doesn't have to feel overwhelming. So there's three key challenges that I see with consultants and coaches and service providers, and they end up wasting a lot of time, money, and energy on trying to get their offline business online. The first one, as I said, is really around being skilled in your delivery, but not necessarily in marketing. So although I had done loads of marketing for years and years and years, that's what I'm qualified in, I hadn't done much on social media, and it was very different. And it's quite intimidating, and you can feel very vulnerable. And when you are operating from that space, you can start to really dilute your message, because LinkedIn especially can feel really scary. You don't want to be called out in the comments, or someone say something or look like you don't know your shit, or that maybe one of the previous colleague or someone might be online. And so you can tend to water your message down, and it doesn't then have any cut through, because you're then not talking to anyone. You're in that space of being a generalist still. And this is where you just get lost in the noise. This is something that a lot of the people that you see online, and this is where it's smoke and mirrors, you can see people that have 40, 50, 100,000 followers still not have a very great lucrative business, because they have been very general in their messaging. And so they're speaking to no one. So yes, they're appealing to a lot of people, but those people aren't buying into their actual services or their offering, because they're not making it clear. The second thing that people are struggling with, and I see this and I struggled myself, is how do you narrow down your genius, the stuff that's great, the stuff that you love to do? How do you take all of that expertise, knowledge, and all that immense value that you have to offer? How do you then put that into an offer? Because up until now, if a referral comes in or a project, it's kind of all bespoke. You're just catering for that one individual, and you're doing everything around them. And so you're used to being a generalist. Whereas the online space is really about creating an offer that encompasses all of your brilliance into one place, but is also structured in a way that is scalable for you. Again, I'm going to show you how you can do that. And the third challenge that people have is the fact that they don't have a system in place. There's nothing that's repeatable or reliable. And so you're kind of throwing spaghetti at the wall, seeing what sticks. And when you don't have a system in place that enables you to connect, converse, and convert, it's actually quite hard. And sometimes people do have systems in place, but they're all manual. And so that takes up a lot of your time. There was one point, I'll let you into a secret. There was a point on LinkedIn about 3 years ago, and I calculated the time that I was spending on there. And it was about 7 hours a day on top of me delivering my services to clients. So keeping those relationships going, keeping that work going. Yet in any moment that I had, I was on LinkedIn, hustling away, trying to get those leads coming in, making sure that I was engaging, doing all the things that the gurus tell you. The trouble that you've got with a lot of the gurus out there, and sorry guys, some of you gurus, influencers out there on the platforms are amazing. I admire you, but I am not a 27-year-old child-free single person with no commitments and no responsibilities and priorities. I haven't got the time. And so when I looked at the time that I was spending, and I was like, this is ridiculous, because I'm talking about being up until really late at night on this stuff. And I just couldn't do it, not with a young family. That is not why I went into business, I promise you. Again, when you've got a system in place, it makes it much easier. So I'll show you the system. So there's 3 key mechanisms that you need in place in your business to be able to grow it online. And I'm all about having a business that is built from you and building from the inside out, because I built it the other way. I had a business before which wasn't built through meaning and purpose and passion. It was something that I'd bought into. And despite having the money, the holidays, the restaurants, the car, the house, those things weren't making me happy inside. I was burnt out and frustrated and unfulfilled, and I didn't want that in this business, and I knew that I had to do some groundwork first. And this is why you hear about people burning their businesses down. You hear about this a lot, and I genuinely believe it's because they don't build from the inside out. They do what most people do, which is they go straight into marketing. So they'll go heavy in investing in marketing. So they'll employ social media agencies, they'll get a flash website produced, but they don't have the foundations in place first. So they'll have a website that is essentially null and void because they're not taking a prospect anywhere on that website. It's basically there. They're not offering them. They're not allowing people to take that next step. It's exactly what people do on their social profiles as well. And so we work from the bottom up. We work on you, then look at your genius. We then look at your offer and we build an offer from your genius, and then we market it. We get it in front of the right people. So your genius code. Genius code is essentially around your brand, you. And as a boundless consultant, which is what I aspire to be, it's what my clients aspire to be. Anyone who comes into my world is on a similar pathway with a similar vision to what I have. And that's what I have as a leader in my business. And this is what you will find with your clients as well, is that the things that they see in you are the things that they want for themselves. But you need to be really clear and honest with yourself about what your world really looks like. So focusing first on identity, which is why. Why are you passionate about what you do? What is your why? What is your purpose? What were you put on the planet to do? Who are the people in your world, the characters, the places that you go to, the stories that you have, the experiences that you've had in life, and how have they impacted you? What is it that makes you you? Then your big ideas. What is your grand vision? What is it that you want for yourself? What is it that you aspire to? What is it that you want to help others with? What do you see in the world that's wrong that you can make right? And the beliefs and the principles that you hold. Again, this is crucially important, but what a lot of people skip over. And then we have your unique mechanisms. And this is your knowledge, your passion, and your expertise. And your unique mechanisms actually form the core part of your genius. Now, once we understand this, this is where we can build your business now from this starting point, from your framework, because this is what your brand is, and this is what you become known for from a visual perspective. It's a visual representation of how you take a client from A to Z and the milestones or the steps that they go through or the key pieces that you deliver on. Now, when you have a framework, everything changes. And I know for me, the moment I had my framework, life became a lot easier in my business because it underpins every form of your marketing and sales. And this is how you can have conversations with people at barbecues without thinking, oh my God, they're going to ask me what I do and how do I explain it? How you have sales conversations that are fluid and feel natural and nice, how you actually build out your content and what you speak about online. So a framework changes everything. This is my framework. And you have a framework, it might change, it might evolve a little bit as you evolve in your business, but essentially this has been my framework for the last 2 years now. And it's all about building a simple, lucrative online business. And as I've mentioned, there's 3 key mechanisms, and these are mine: Genius Code, Offer Matrix, and the acquisition engine. Now, I know that when I had each of these things in place, and they all didn't happen at once, they all didn't happen in order, when I actually looked at, okay, well, how did I get here and how do I help people? And what is it that I love? And what is it that I know a lot about? And where can I really help? These are the things. Yeah. And so once you have this framework, this is what then plays into you building out your offers. And we do that in the offer matrix. Now, in the offer matrix, the first thing that we do is we look at your signature offer, and this is your ultimate top level offer. So we'll look at your one-to-one, and we look at how we actually break down the core elements of your offer. And I've got 8 conversion hooks, and I can't go into these in this training because there's too much to cover, but there's 8 essential pieces. One of them I've spoken about already, which is about your promise, having a promise that is not overinflated, that someone can buy into, that you know you can deliver on, and really painting a picture of what it looks like to work with you, but making it about your client. They don't want to know every single aspect of what you do or how you're going to go about it. You want to make it about them. And by the time a prospect has seen your offer, they're already bought into you because they understand that you've got a framework. They know certain aspects of your framework. There's no surprises here. So the level of certainty that and belief that they have in you is far greater. And this is how we shorten down the time from going from know, like to trust as well, is from the framework and building into and incorporating this into your offer. In the past, it was said that you needed to have your core offer, which was your one-to-one offer, and you needed to focus on that solely for at least 1 year. And only when it reached critical mass should you open up new offerings or ways of working with you. I honestly believe that I left thousands and thousands of dollars on the table by not having additional offers that people could buy into. Because the reality is that not every one person that you put your offer in front of is going to be ready to work with you one-to-one. So the way that we build this out in the offer matrix, we build it a bit differently. So we think about, if you have 100 people put in front of you right now who are your dream clients, only 1% of only one person in that 100 would be ready for your top tier offer right now. And that's because that person, they know what problems they've got. They know that you're the right person to deliver it with your solution, and they want results fast. They generally, people are more time poor at that end as well, and they're willing to invest. And so we then look at, okay, well, a group offer. Delivering exactly the same promise, but to a group. The only thing that they don't have is the one-to-one component or the done for you component. Now, you'll find that out of 100 people, there'll be 4% that will sit there because it's more affordable. They might have a bit more time on their hands. They might not be as pressurized on times in a time deliverable. And so these people are solution aware and they desire results. Then when you look at a buyer and a lead, so we're going to move over to the left now. We have leads in our world all the time. So we have a whole audience out there where we've got the option to convert someone into a lead. And there's 70% of people. So if you have 100 people in front of you, 70% of people would be willing to invest their time to have a lead magnet or to look at your posts. What we want to do is to take those leads and to turn them into a buyer as quickly as possible. And we do this through offering high value, low risk offers. And these are very short term kind of transactional offers. These are for people who are problem aware, but solution unaware. Find that there's 25% of people in your world right now who would be willing to give you money. So if you are only offering a one-to-one offer at one end, you're missing out on 99% of the market. So the offer matrix is all about proximity to you. And I essentially have two offers. You can work with me in a group or you work with me one-to-one. And the one-to-one is just a bolt-on. You get everything in the group, but you bolt on the one-to-one on the end. So that's how the offer matrix works. And then we look at, okay, acquisition engine. So you've got your offer. How do you get it in front of the right people? So this is essentially the 5 steps. Firstly, you've got connect. You need to be making connections with people. So I connect with people every single day. I have a targeted list of people that I'm targeting and I'm connecting with. When I connect with them, I have conversations with them. And these are conversations that are inbound and outbound. So inbound conversations is essentially through social media, where you are posting a piece of content and you are drawing leads, you're drawing people into you that way. I did that for many years, and it was about 9 months ago that I seriously started doing outreach as well as. And so I post content about 5 days a week, and I also do outbound 5 days a week, so from Monday to Friday. But the outbound is very simple. It's not pushy, it's not salesy, it's not awkward, it's done in a really nice way. Now, the key then is to invite people to a lead magnet. So you're in a lead magnet right now. This is a free piece of content that you're watching. You will hopefully take some nuggets of gold from this and be able to take away some of the things that I've taught you and to put them into your business. But that lead magnet is essentially the first step of them coming into your world and really seeing what value it is that you have to offer. Now, once they've bought into a lead magnet, you can invite them to a mini offer. And this is where they become a buyer. This is where they get out a credit card and they will part with money to go that next level with you. Now, that doesn't matter, honestly, whether we're talking about $1 or $1,000. It's more about the intention of the fact that they are willing to go to the next step. And then once they've bought into a mini offer, you can then make them a client offer to come into your main offering. That's essentially it from me. I would like to offer you one more thing.